All right, fastest 15 minutes in social media, fastest 15 minutes on the internet. My name is Judson Powell. Please hit the subscribe button. Please hit the like button. Please hit the share button. Please hit the notification button. But most of all, as usual, hit the love button. Love all y'all. Anyway, let me get down to the nitty gritty. I want to talk about the financial implications of this virus. And first of all, I still, even though everybody thinks, well, there are some people out there who may believe what I'm saying, but all of this stuff, to me, it was staged in order to have the biggest transfer of money and wealth in the history of the United States of America. The rich folks basically have stolen all the money. There is no more money. And I'm getting ready to tell you why there is no more money and why right now, even as we speak, they're still figuring out how to get money. Because when all of this, when we go through the depression, we're already in a recession. Several banking institutions have already said that we are in recession, okay, because there's no money. All right, nobody is working. There have been, I think at the last count, there was like 25 million unemployment claims filed. The government is already bankrupt. Pretty much. We're already, before all this started, we were $23 trillion in debt. And so now all of a sudden, it's like all the propaganda is against the Chinese. Well, the reason why the propaganda is against the Chinese is because they're the only real manufacturing country in the world right now. We're a high tech kind of country now. We don't have people like that are putting clogs together, or manufacturing, clothing or anything like that. We have them do it all. So that's why they have all the money. And guess what? We owe them money because they do all that stuff for us. Same thing, like I was telling y'all before, it's like when you call a customer service line, you get people in another country. You don't get people from the United States. You get people from another country. Why? Because they work for cheap. They don't charge big money. The same thing with, the only thing that we manufacture here in the United States is food. That's it. Basically, I mean, we manufacture some other things, but for the most part, we are a food manufacturer. Even car companies and everything like that, if you really look and you see about the car companies and all that, the car companies manufacture a lot of their parts in other countries. All right, so it's cheaper to put what they do is they bring them to the plants and they put them together. All right, so anyway, so let me explain. So now, when they and it all goes back to being able to hide the money from the tax cut. Okay, so the rich, Republican and Democrat, it's not bipartisan. It's not, there's no separation. It's rich versus poor. All right, so understand the concept: rich, wealthy versus poor, middle class, underclass. All right. Okay, so understand what the deal is, and then you got a few people that are teeter-tottering on the border. All right, now let's talk about the stimulus. So everybody that's middle class and below is going to get $1,200. They're talking about maybe giving another $2,000. Okay, by the time you get that $1,200, you are in debt. You are already, in fact, I guarantee you owe somebody some money right now. If you are in the middle to the underclass or lower class, whatever, you owe people money already. So that $1,200 ain't going to do you much good. Okay. And once again, let me explain the theory of corporate welfare. The money is going to go to pay those bills, or it's going to go to somebody immediately. Most people that check will not stay in your hands for 24 to 48 hours. Guaranteed. And then one of your creditors is going to take, and they've also put in provisions where your creditors can take the $1,200 if you owe them bills. All right, so now let's go up a little bit and let's go to the millionaire class. People that are millionaires are actually going to get, if they have, multi-millions, they're going to get $1.7 million. So how fair is that? And so what are they going to do with that money? They're going to, because that's some money that you can stockpile. See, you can $1,200, you can't do nothing. 1.7 million, you good to go, right? Because you can weather out the entire recession, depression, whatever happens, you can weather it out. Now, let me explain to you some more about the tax cut. Okay, so the tax cut gave a 30% tax cut to the wealthiest corporations and richest people in the United States. What did they do with the money? They divested it. They took it out and they hid it in trust funds and in annuities and other things that you can't touch. Okay, so they put it in, just like when I said the Walmart family took all of their money and put it into the family trust that cannot be touched. Okay, because trust funds, if you know about negotiable instruments and all of that, you cannot touch a trust. Okay, under the law. Okay, so basically what they all did, and then all the other rich people, what did they do? They sold off all of their stock because they already knew. Look, all those senators and Congress people and big time business people, and remember, we had all of those CEOs and people who are on boards of directors and all of that, they all stepped down and resigned. And what did they do when they stepped down and resigned? They got severance packages. They got money. Even Bill Gates, he got money for stepping down from the board of directors of Microsoft. Everybody, basically every major CEO in the country, it was, I think the number was it was between something like 1,800, it was like 1,800 heads of corporations stepped down. All right. So that's what I'm trying to tell y'all. They already knew that this was coming. So they hid the money. So they got this money, you get the severance package. I hide it in a trust. And then I just hunker down and survive. And what they did was they just transfer all of the money and the wealth out of the economy. And then your Federal Reserve folks, what did they do? Now because of the crisis, so-called crisis, they're releasing $1 trillion a day into the economy. But guess what? And the way they do that, once again, is they take the money, they give it to the bankers. The bankers, in turn, loan it out to people, right? They're going to loan that money out. But guess what? Eventually, you got to pay for it. Eventually, you got to pay it back. All right? Same thing is true for these stimulus checks. Even though they're saying you may not directly have to pay for it on your taxes, we got to pay that money back. Why? Because the country is already in debt. So the country's already in debt. So just use the $23 trillion that we were in debt before all of this started, and then you give everybody that's in the middle to lower class $1,200, and then you give everybody who's in the upper class $1.7 million. That's what we're doing. Okay, and eventually you got to pay it back. And who are we in debt to? China, the Federal Reserve, who is not the United States of America. It's those rich billionaires that own the Federal Reserve. It's not the United States. That's not who's loaning us this money. That's not who's giving us this money, and we got to pay it back. And so what's the first thing that they're going to do? What are the bankers going to do when they realize that there's no money, when you don't have any money, and 25 million people don't have jobs now, and a whole bunch of companies are going to go bankrupt? Because a lot of these smaller businesses are never going to come back from this. Most small businesses cannot stand to be shut down for 2 months or have reduced sales or reduced profits for 2 months. And the same thing is true with most people's houses. And nobody has income. Nobody has money coming in. And that $1,200, all I can speak on is my house, but it will not cover me for a month. It won't even cover me for a third of a month. And most other people are like that too. The average, I think they said the average rent in the United States is $1,200. But that doesn't count your lights, your your water, your sanitation, your food, all of that doesn't cover it. And then even when you start talking about people applying for unemployment, where is the money to give them for unemployment going to come from? It's not there. And then they're not giving and then there's a certain group of people, and like I said, and they're also making it so that so that people can, like your creditors can also take your stimulus. So if you owe somebody, they can actually get money from you. They can actually garnish your money from the stimulus check. So you got to understand, all of this stuff is designed, so that the rich folks get to take home all the money. That's what it's designed for. And also in the stimulus bill, there was a provision to give real estate people money. All right. So anybody, Trump's boys, right? Real estate. People that own large amounts of real estate and stuff like that, they also got a tax. They are not a tax cut, but they got money in this stimulus package. And all the corporations, the airlines, this, that, and the other thing, and Trump is doing this. He's approving these on a as needed basis. So who do you think they're giving this money to? They're not giving it to you, and they're not giving it to me. And then, like I said, and just like when Bush in 2007, 2008, when the economy was collapsing, then it's the same thing. All they're going to do is take the money, they're going to hide it away, wait out the storm, and then and see, it's the common, everyday, ordinary people that are going to have to rebuild the economy. So it's going to be up to us. But in the meantime, in between time, those bankers and the people that everybody owes money to, they're gonna foreclose and repossess all of their stuff, just like they did last time. Remember how many people lost their houses 2007, 2008, 2009 until Obama, put certain actions, into certain things into action. It's the same thing. Ain't nothing changed. It's just a different, instead of 9/11 and instead of, a war in the Middle East, it's coronavirus. And they're using it to steal. They're using this to steal money. And then on top of that, then the pharmaceutical companies want to build, they're gonna use this to create this vaccine. That's why I keep telling y'all, that's why they keep using blackface politics in order to try to convince us that we need to take this vaccine and to make everybody fearful that they don't take the vaccine. So then what? So on top of that, they make billions of dollars giving everybody a mandatory vaccine. And it's the same thing. People are going to start, I'm telling you, as soon as they lift all these orders, then everybody is going to start losing their houses, start losing their cars, in fact, there are more homeless people on the street. That's something they're not reporting. There are people walking up and down the street with signs even here in Phoenix, talking about, I lost everything due to coronavirus. Already. So you can't tell me that, and some of these states are talking about staying out till June and July. People will not be able to survive until June or July with $1,200, maybe $3,200 if they decide to pass this other $2,000. That's not enough. That's not enough to take care of your family. It's not. So what are you going to do? And so I just want to say there's certain businesses that are still up and running, which is basically shipping, like Amazon, eBay, trucking, getting a CDL, driving a truck, stuff like that. That's gonna exist because they need that. They're gonna always need that kind of stuff, But there's a lot of stuff that's not going to come back, and a lot of stuff that's going to always, from hence now and forevermore, be virtual. It's not going to be, brick and mortar businesses no more. Malls may never come back, because they were already going out. So anyway, think about it. But They duped us all. Anyway, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. My name is Judson Powell. Fastest 15 minutes is through. I love you.